So the other day I was looking through an old box of old art that I had, and like I found just an entire completed script that I wrote while I was in middle school. And it was just like this random short film idea I had. And the thing that was special about the script is the fact that like it's it was an idea for a movie that is so insubstantial to me. I have like zero interest in this thing whatsoever. I don't even know what the idea was, because after reading it over, it's like it's really nothing. There's like no like real core concept to it, but yet it's one of the rarest situations where I actually finished a script to something. Okay, so there are three characters that have main voices. There's Kyle, Joseph, and Rick. I'm gonna give Kyle like a little bit of like a suave like voice, kind of like this, and then I'm gonna give Joseph like a kind of a bit more of a nasally voice like this, and then I'm gonna give Rick just like a really kind of sinister voice. And then everyone else is gonna be Toby Seinfeld. The Adventures of Captain Obvious. Opening. Poor Productions Presents appears on screen. Kyle, voiceover. I've always been aware of many things. Some things I'd rather not be so aware. This story is about me and my brother. Obviously. The movie's title appears on the screen. Scene 1. Scene opens up on Kyle and Joseph walking down the sidewalk. I really can't believe we missed the bus home. The bus home, Kyle! Well, I mean, duh. After noticing the look on Miss Harris's face, it was pretty obvious we would be there for a while. Yeah, a while. 3 hours. Blech. At least school's finally out, but... Dang, man, we gotta stop pulling that crap! God, Joseph, shut up. You know getting into trouble is what we do best. This script is atrocious, by the way. I wrote it in middle school.
Are you kidding? It's art?
Bandit walks up behind the two. He reaches for Joseph's bag quickly. Joseph, before his bag is grabbed. Okay, first off. Joseph turns around and grabs the bandit's wrist, then twists it. I don't know why I used the word bandit to describe this mugger here. Like,
because he's just a right bandit.
He's just a silly varmint.
He's a right ne'er-do-well.
Joseph turns around and grabs the bandit's wrist, then twists it. He punches the bandit's chest, knocking the bandit back a bit. When you try to bug someone, don't wing it. Winging it will get you nowhere. You have to analyze. Plan every single detail. Kyle puts his foot behind the bandit's ankle, then trips him. The bandit lands on his back and Joseph puts a foot on his chest. Otherwise, you'll just end up looking stupid. Also, you might want to brush your teeth. I noticed that the enamel seems to be coming off. Kyle pulls a piece of gum from his bag and tosses it beside the bandit. That is for your breath. Joseph and Kyle walk away, leaving the bandit on the ground. Good day to you too. Scene 2. The two boys walk through the front door of their house. Also, there's a really weird age complication here that happens with this script, and I'll talk about it once it's done. But I noticed it as I was reading it, and I don't know what kind of mindset I was in terms of like the way I thought about these characters as I was writing this, but it's very weird. Anyway, the two boys walk through the front door of their house. That's what we get for going down West Street. Scene transitions and shows the two setting up a chessboard. Joseph stares at the pieces. You know, it would help if I actually knew how to play this. Oh yeah, sorry. Kyle tosses an instruction booklet to Joseph. Joseph literally says, "Thanks be to you." Joseph opens the booklet.
No. We can't.
We can do just that. Hold on, no, it gets better. Joseph opens the booklet, flips through the pages of it, then closes it and tosses it back. I got it down now. Alrighty. They begin to play. Transitional fades appear many times to represent a great amount of time passing. Kyle is shown staring at the board. He then moves a piece, knocking off one of Joseph's pieces. Kyle smirks. Checkmate, my friend. Ugh. Crap. Yeah, you're right. They fist bump, and Kyle chuckles. Joseph says, "Hey, Kyle, you want to go down to the local game store?"
To the what?
To the local game store. I sound like a 40-year-old trying to write like an after-school special. Hey, Kyle,
Hey, you like head down to the game store?
Hey, you want to head down to the local game store? Hey,
perhaps we can get the new Super Mario game.
Hey, Kyle, you want to go down to the local game store? Oh, I don't know. What time is Mom coming back today? Probably somewhere around 10 p.m., so we should be okay time-wise. The scene shifts and shows the two boys exiting their house. Joseph is carrying his bag, Kyle is empty-handed. Joseph and Kyle are then seen after a couple moments walking around a corner. Kyle stops before walking around. Joseph continues walking. Joseph walks around and barely catches a glimpse of Agent Rick's back before he is pulled around by Kyle. Kyle pushes Joseph against the wall and puts a finger to his lips. Kyle peeks around the corner slightly. Agent Marlin walks up to Rick carrying a briefcase. There you are. Marlin, do you have it? Yeah, I have the file right here, pats the briefcase. Joseph glances around the area and notices Henchman 1 slowly walking towards Rick and Marlin, carrying what seems to be a metal bat. Joseph taps Kyle's shoulder and points towards the henchman. Kyle looks and grimaces. Kyle whispering, "Oh dang, that can't be good." Marlin hands the case over to Rick. "Now, I assume you'll be delivering this straight to the base?" "Oh, you see, about that." Henchman 1 pummels Marlin in the back of the head with the metal bat. Marlin collapses as the henchman beats him some more. "That's quite enough. Now let's get out of here." Henchman runs off, leaving the bat. Rick kneels down.
What, are you mean to tell me they didn't want anything from the local game store?
No, they didn't. Rick kneels down beside Marlin, who is on his back, groaning slightly, and reaches into his coat pocket. Rick pulls out a small piece of paper with a 3-number combination on it. He then flees. Joseph and Kyle almost instantly run up to Marlin. Oh my God, sir, are you all right?" "Don't let them take the file." "Dude, we gotta go after the guy." "Right, yeah, let's go." He turns to Marlin. "We'll be back as soon as possible." Kyle runs off in the same direction as Rick and the henchman. Joseph grabs the metal bat and does the same. The two boys end up on the side of a street. Whoa, that's actually how I wrote the sentence. The two boys end up on the side of a street where they see Rick opening up the side of a car and getting inside. "We got the file."
Boy, oh boy, they sure do.
"We got the file. Back to the hideout. We can't let him get away with that case." Kyle glances around. His eyes settle on a nearby bicycle, and everything goes in slow motion. The camera then...
What?
The camera then zooms quickly onto different parts of the bike, each one coming in quick succession to the one before it. The camera zooms out and turns back to Kyle. He was just analyzing the bicycle before he hops on it.
Isn't that like what Benedict Cumberbatch did in Sherlock?
No, yeah, that's exactly what I was going for here. Because, like, this is around the time that I was watching Sherlock. Oh my God. Okay. Exact Captain Obvious. It's the Sherlock reboot we were all waiting for. The car that Rick is located in
with John.
The car that Rick is located in begins to drive off. Kyle rushes over to the bike and gets on. He rides it over to Joseph. "Get on the pegs, man!" Joseph jumps on the pegs. Kyle rides off following the car. Scene 3. The scene opens up and shows Rick's car pulling up near a warehouse. Rick steps out. Kyle stops the bike. Joseph and Kyle get off and Kyle leans it against a fence. Rick walks into the warehouse with the henchman 1 and driver. "Okay, strange warehouse, place of residence." Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. "Okay, strange warehouse, place of residence. Residence." Okay, I can't read. Residence. Kyle gets up and walks away and motions for Joseph to follow. "Right, let's go check this out." Kyle and Joseph walk up to the nearest window and look inside. Rick is seen walking up to a desk. He sets the case on the desk and pulls out the paper with the combination, which he proceeds to then set on top of the case. Rick walks off. "Now's our chance." Kyle and Joseph walk inside the warehouse and then up to the briefcase. Let's crack this baby open." The boys proceed to open.
Maybe it's a safe.
Yeah, it's a briefcase. What the heck? The boys proceed to open the briefcase using a combination. Once open, they find the file sitting inside. Or they find a file sitting inside. Ah, that would explain the thing that guy said about the file. Kyle, after a pause. We should look inside. He grabs the file. Joseph grabs it as well. Do you always act on impulse? Of course not. You should know that. You played chess with me. Then what are you doing? Well, obviously whatever is in this thing must be a big deal. I was just wondering what it was. Whatever it is, it's obviously none of our business. Heck, it even says classified on the cover, dude. Fine, whatever. Anyway, all we need to worry about is getting this thing to the authorities pronto. Are you insane? As soon as they see us with it, they'll think we stole it, and we obviously don't have enough evidence to prove it was this guy. First off, stop saying obviously all the time. Sorry, force of habit. Secondly, you're right. Yeah, I know. Secondly, you're right. We need a way to prove it was this guy. The boys pause and think for a moment. I have an idea. Share. It'll be tricky, but I think with the proper skills and... What?
Isn't it obvious?
Isn't it obvious? Yeah. It'll be tricky, but I think with the proper skills and timing, we could pull it off. Tell me what it is. Right, so basically what we have to do, the scene crossfades. That's a wonderful concept, but in action there are way too many variables to consider. I mean, for example, what if the scene crossfades again? Right, but you see, the thing is, we can control those variables. I mean, with the proper persuasion, these guys could be putty in our hands, and of course, I provided enough persuasion. A small pause. You know what? I'm in. The scene shifts to show Kyle grabbing the file and placing it in Joseph's bag. The boys then exit the warehouse and leave the area on the bicycle. Scene 4. Rick walks into the room with the briefcase, which is wide open. There is a camera laying inside it. What the? No! Rick rushes up to the briefcase and grabs the camera, which has a paused video on it. Rick plays the video. The video shows the empty briefcase and Joseph's disguised voice is heard off screen.
Well, well, well. It seems as if you have a teensy-tiny problem with your security. As you could probably guess, I have your precious file. From the looks of it, it seems like you would do almost anything to get your little paws on it. Wait. That's right. I saw what you did to get it the first time. I'm quite proud, really. It was very amusing. But unfortunately, like you, I have plans with this information. Although, I would be willing to give it up for a small price.
Price?
Find me at the nearest public establishment to your little hideout. We'll discuss
Public establishment?
Just wait until you see what that is.
Hey, buddy, meet me at the nearest public establishment.
We'll discuss our terms
Meet me
there.
at the nearest sock hop.
We'll discuss our terms there. 11 a.m. tomorrow, no later.
The video shuts off. Rick is left dumbfounded, staring at the screen. More like left dumb. Oh!
I get it, because he isn't very smart.
Scene
wow,
5.
That was a clever...
It was good. It was a good joke. Scene 5.
That was really clever
Joseph
juke
and
you put on there.
Joseph and Kyle are seen walking inside their house. All right, let's get to this. Montage sequence cues. In this sequence, these things should be shown or hinted. 1. Putting the real file papers in either Kyle or Joseph's bag. 2. Drawing pictures of skateboards on blank pieces of paper. 3. Putting skateboard drawings in the file. 4. Preparing disguises. 5. Anything that needs to be added to the montage sequence other than those.
I wonder what the plan is.
There is a plan. It's very simple. The montage sequence ends. Kyle and Joseph are seen sitting on a couch. Kyle is playing a video game. So, you're completely sure you've thought all this through, right? Of course, man, you know me. Right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get to sleep. You should too. Yeah, don't worry, I will. Joseph gets up and walks into his room. Just one more level. Scene 6. Rick walks into the parking lot of a McDonald's. He looks to
the
greatest and nearest public establishment.
When I think of a public establishment made for the people, I think of good old Golden Arches Mickey D's.
Rick walks into the parking lot of a McDonald's. He looks through the window and sees Joseph sitting alone at a table. Joseph has a Happy Meal bag beside him. Rick raises a brow, then walks inside. Joseph turns and looks at Rick as he enters. Oh, there you are. He checks the time. Whoa, and you're on time too. Rick walks over to Joseph's table and sits across from him. Rick immediately starts ranting about Szechuan sauce. Just kidding.
I was about to say, hey, no?
Yeah. You know, I'm actually really glad that you came when you did. I have been waiting to eat my meal just so I could eat it in front of you. Why?
What a hero.
Why? No reason. Joseph pulls out a box of chicken nuggets. He then takes out a fork and a knife from his suit pocket. Joseph begins to eat.
Mad woman.
I know. Joseph begins to eat very formally with the silverware. I want my file back. The way I see it, it's not even your file, genius. Just shut up and give it to me. Hey, I'll be happy to. You have to remember, though, it won't be free. What do you want for it? I want $2 grand. I do not have that kind of money. You know, I was able to guess that when looking at your little secret warehouse hideout. I was thinking, wow, either this guy wants to seem really low profile or he is downright broke. How am I supposed to get a hold of $2 grand? Hey, that's
wow,
your
that's sassy as hell.
Hey, that's your problem, not mine. Fine. I'll have your money by the end of the week. Oh, and before you go, a little life lesson I think is in order. No thanks.
How old is this kid?
Okay, exactly. This question continues. No. No thanks. No. I won't be long. Don't worry. What is it? Let me start this off with a little scenario. Joseph places his fingers on the table in a position representing 2 legs. He begins to move them forward slightly. Say that you're walking down your neighborhood one day. You're just minding your own business, but you're not exactly paying attention. You're too busy admiring the beauty of the day. And then Joseph reaches into the Happy Meal box and pulls out a small toy skateboard. He places it in front, in 2017, when they're selling Tech Decks with Happy Meals.
What do you mean in 2017? This is every year. This is what makes it timeless.
This is all years. He places it in front of his walking fingers. Apparently, some bratty kid left his skateboard out in the middle of the road. Joseph places his index finger on the skateboard and acts like his hand is falling backwards. Whoops! Look like you slipped! Now guess what has to happen? You have to go to the hospital and pay some huge freaking medical bill. And your point? Listen, my point is always pay attention. Otherwise, you might end up having to pay something you could have avoided. I'll keep that in mind. Rick gets up and walks out of the restaurant. Joseph holds a thumbs up in the air. The camera shifts and shows Kyle walking. See, I use the word shifts a lot in the script because I don't know actual real words to use in a film script.
Well, I mean, it's better than just hitting caps lock over and over again.
That's true. The camera shifts and shows Kyle walk in front of Rick. Hello there. Can I help you? Actually, yes you can.
Oh, is this where it's about to... Also, can I just say that so far this character, I don't remember his name because I'm bad with names, but he's the protagonist, but he's sounding a lot more like villainous with the way he's speaking.
My name is Detective Hartman, more commonly known as Detective Obvious.
What? Hey, Judy, quick question.
Yeah,
what?
I know.
Where's this going?
I was like 11. And what can I help you with? Well, you see, there have been reports and rumors recently about a certain file that was stolen from government hands. Excuse me? Our research leads us to believe that you are the main suspect. What? That's ridiculous. I wouldn't do that. Well, the data leads us to believe otherwise. It was me! The camera turns and shows Joseph stepping out of the door of the restaurant. And who are you? Why, that much really shouldn't matter. It really does, actually. And why is that? Well, because if what you say is true, and you really did steal the file, we'll need to bring you in for questioning. And your name is sort of essential for things like that. And in the amount of time it took for you to explain that to me, I've had 7 of my guys plant a bomb in Times Square.
What? What's the game plan?
We're nowhere near Times Square. There's no point in doing that. There's no point in doing this either. Joseph runs away. Come back here.
Wait, how dare you rip off JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Kyle sprints in the same direction. Rick is left standing there. He slowly walks away. As he is walking, the sound of a phone ringing is heard. Rick pulls it out of his pocket and answers the call. Hello?
I've drawn the attention away from you.
What the fuck is happening? I'm pretty sure I'm having some variety of a fever dream right now.
Do this opportunity what you must do to get the money. You have until the end of the week. Joseph hangs up and puts the phone away. Where
am I?
He then walks away. Scene 7.
Okay, before we continue, how many scenes do we have?
There are 9 scenes total.
Okay, cool.
Scene 7. Words appear on a black background saying Saturday, 11:26 a.m. The scene fades in, showing Joseph.
What time it is?
Saturday, 11:26 a.m. The scene fades in, showing Joseph leaning against the wall of a building in an empty alleyway, still in his disguise. Rick walks up to Joseph carrying a briefcase. Oh, hello. You know, I was afraid for a second that you had bailed out on me. And to think you were so early last time. I really like that aspect of your personality. Whatever happened to it?
Just shut up and take the money.
Rick tosses the briefcase to Joseph, who then sets it down beside his feet. Now, what was it you wanted?
The file, you Nimrod!
Hey, relax. Just kidding, I have it right here.
You know what? I'm done.
Rick pulls out a pistol and points it at Joseph. Whoa, listen here, Mr. Rageface, you really don't want to do that.
Why not?
Mr. Rageface.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, memes, Rage comics, you know.
I was about to say, fuck.
and why not?
Well, you see, I recently had some head work done.
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
So, about a month ago, I had some tiny chips implanted all around the inside of my body. You see, the reason I did it is to teach people to think twice before spraying bullets on this beautiful body. Any contact with flames, bullets, explosives, or anything bright and fiery, the chips will detonate, an explosion reaching a 50-mile radius.
You're bluffing.
There's a lot to take in.
You're bluffing.
Do you really want to take that chance? Rick stares a bit, an unsure look on his face. Now you can shoot me.
Question. I have a question.
Okay.
Would you take that chance?
Absolutely not. Rick stares a bit, an unsure look on his face. Now, you could shoot me, thus making the stupid decision and burning about half of the city. Or we could just go about this as originally planned.
You have the file?
Joseph reaches into the pocket of his coat. He pulls out a file and tosses it on the ground near Rick's feet. There's your file, chap. We good now? Rick picks up the file. He glances between it and Joseph, then turns the gun a bit and shoots Joseph's shoulder. Joseph collapses with his hand clutched to the wound. Rick kneels in front of Joseph.
Listen here, kid. I don't know who you're trying to fool, but you're not gonna get past me.
Joseph winces, then sighs and smirks. We already have. Rick raises a brow and gets to his feet. He grabs the briefcase of money and the file, then walks off. Joseph begins to chuckle. He pulls out a walkie-talkie and speaks into it.
Dude, he took the replica, just as we planned. Hey, you alright?
Yeah, just injured.
Injured?
How? Well, he shot me in the shoulder. Holy crap, really? That jerk. Well,
what a jerk.
What a jerk. What a meanie.
What a big old jerk face.
He'll get what he has coming to him soon enough. You got the recordings? Yep. Got all your previous conversations right here at the rendezvous point. Awesome. I have the one we just had. I'll be there as soon as possible. Joseph gets up and grabs his bags and the gun. He walks away from the scene. Scene 8. Rick is seen inside of a moving car. He pulls out the file.
Finally.
He opens it up with a huge smile, but the smile fades when he looks at the contents of the file. The camera shifts position, showing the inside of the file, which contains a single drawing of a skateboard. Rick grows angry and rips the file in half menacingly.
Ooh.
The skateboard thing. Scene 9. Camera follows Joseph and Kyle walking down the street. Kyle is carrying 2 tape recorders. Joseph has his bag on his back. Man, I wish I could see the freaking look on that guy's face. Likewise. Hey, you think there's a reward? For what? For returning the file. Not sure. I doubt it, though. Scene instantly cuts to show the boys walking down the same street but in the opposite direction. They are laughing and cheering. Kyle is holding a trash bag, dragging it with him as he walks. Joseph is holding money in his hands. There was a reward! Woo! The film ends with a fade out as the boys are walking and talking about the events excitedly. The camera is turned to their backs and is static as they walk further away from it. The end.
These kids were playing like 8-dimensional chess.
I know. That was Captain Obvious. That was a script for a short film.
Nothing about that was obvious, Judy.
I know.
At no point during that would I say, well, obviously.
So that was my ambitious short film script that I wrote in middle school.
Honestly, ahead of your time.
I know, right?